Hi, everyone, and welcome to Friday Night Live. I am your host, Crystal Fry, personal identity coach, transformational communication strategist, and many of you may know me as a woman's best friend. Thank you to everyone who is joining tonight, both those who are watching live and everyone in the replay. If you're watching live tonight, go ahead and give me a thumbs up or toss up some hearts or something. Let me know where you're watching from. And for those of you who are going to catch this in the replay, go ahead and use the hashtag replay and let me know where you are joining from. Let me know where you are. Tonight, our conversation is about validation and why we feel we need it. Why do we feel we need to be validated? Why do we need validation from others? So go ahead and share this video out, start a watch party. You can tag someone who needs to see this. I really believe that this is going to be impactful for you. So if this is the very first time that you are spending some time here with me, let me take just a quick minute and introduce myself. As I said at the very beginning, my name is Crystal Fry, and I am a personal identity coach and transformational communication strategist. So basically what that means is I solve the problem of transparency for both individuals and organizations through teaching the transformational power of words and communication with yourself and others. You see, and it's a kind of funny story how I came to this. I actually have spent years of my life being stuck with my mouth shut. And as a kid who grew up never having a problem with talking, always, maybe some of you can relate to this, my report cards, they always had really good grades on them when I was in school. But the comments, like the little teacher comments that they put in there, was always something like, good student talks too much in class. Excellent student needs to be quiet. Right? So I never had a problem talking. I never had a problem speaking. But at some point, my words, they really failed to carry the meaning that I was trying to convey. In both my personal and my professional life, I realized I was saying words, right? I was communicating, I was talking. But it turns out I was really only saying what other people wanted to hear, not necessarily what I wanted to say or even what I really felt. I mean, I had effectively silenced myself. I had forgotten the power of my own voice. And as a result of that, I was not living the life that I wanted to live. Now, fast forward through some serious time spent in coaching and self-reflection and self-discovery and really studying communication, I am certainly in a much better place now. Completely in touch with where I am going, confident in what I have to say, and creating the life that I want to live. So if you want to find out more about the program that I created to help other women overcome those same obstacles, the information to sign up for a complimentary transformational conversation with me is scrolling right down here at the bottom of the screen. You can go to bit.ly/CME30 and get some time on my calendar, and we can talk about where you are, where you want to go, and what's the next best step to get you there. Okay? Now that you know a little bit about me, don't forget to tell me where you're watching from and drop your comments as we go through. If there's something that really kind of moves you, go ahead and drop your comments down while we're going through tonight. We are talking about validation and why we feel we need it. Now, let me lead with this. Validation is not a bad thing. It lets us know we're on the right track, right? It makes us feel good. It fills that very basic need that we have, that very basic human need of feeling loved and knowing that we belong, right? Those are all good things. The problem with validation exists when we are actually dependent upon the validation of others in an attempt to justify our own value, our own self-worth. It's a problem when we feel empty or worthless without the validation or approval of others. So validation on its own is a good thing, right? The problem comes in when we depend on someone else's validation to make us feel like we are worthy. I'm going to give you a real life example of that. For anyone who's watched any of my previous videos, a couple weeks ago, you may notice I cut my hair. My hair was very long. I cut it. I do that periodically. And there was a point in time where I would have done that. And actually, I would have gone back and forth for a really long time trying to make the decision to do it because I would have been very concerned about what other people thought about it. And then after I cut it, I would have, like, oh, what do you think? What do you think? Really trying to get that feedback, that approval from other people. You guys, this is my hair. It's mine. It's not on anyone else's head. You know what matters? Do I like it? Yes, I do. And it'll grow back. It's hair. It'll grow back. But that's a real life example of when you need that validation from someone else, when you need approval from someone else to make you feel like you're worthy. So the question I'm going to pose here is, why do you think that some of us actually find ourselves in need of that validation from others? And so again, if you're watching, whether you're live or in the replay, go ahead and drop your comments down there because I would love to hear what your thoughts are about why we need that validation from others. I'm going to tell you two things. Again, drop your comments, but I'm going to tell you two things. One, it's part of who we are as human beings. We were created to belong and with a very deep desire to be loved. It's at the core of who we are. When God created us, he put these desires into our core, right? Into our makeup as human beings so that we would seek to belong and be loved by him. I mean, it's just part of how we were created. So that's one thing. The second thing, we've been conditioned to seek the approval and validation of others as a way to validate ourselves. Now, think about this for a minute. A lot of things that I talk about actually stem back from childhood, and there's a whole scientific process to that, and I will not bore you with that at the moment. But think about small children. If you've ever seen kids around when they're around their parents and they do something, right? Whether it's, I don't know, go pick up a toy or, put a block together, or fit a puzzle together, finish something. When they do something, they will look to their parents or to another adult, and they're seeking the reaction. Is it good? If it's good, then they will receive praise, right? Oh, good job. You finished your puzzle, whatever it is. Or is it bad? In which case that usually results in, maybe they get scolded or get time out or whatever the case may be. But we learn as children how to essentially make other people happy in order to garner that very basic need of being loved and feeling like we belong, right? And if this is making sense to you, if this is resonating with you, go ahead and toss some hearts or thumbs up, whatever they are. Toss some emojis up there. Let me know what your thoughts are about this. Because again, this is not necessarily, validation is not necessarily a bad thing. How we learn about it is not really a bad thing, but it's important to understand the difference between feeling good when you receive outside praise from someone because you've done something, and the dependency on someone else's approval in order to make you feel whole. So it's important to understand the difference between those two things. And let me share with you how to tell the difference. I'm going to use an example, and we can even toss back to the haircut example, all right? When you do something and you think it's good, right? And I had gotten a super short haircut many years ago. I thought it was fabulous. It took me like 5 minutes to do it in the morning. I loved it. It was a super cute cut. I loved it. My husband and my kids hated it. They absolutely hated it. They were so accustomed to me having very, very long hair. it was a total shock for them, and they never really got used to it, and they really never liked it. And that's okay because I did. But if I had taken that and I loved it, and so I was happy with it, and that's a good thing, right? But what if I had just really gone off the deep end because they didn't like it? And I allowed that to devalue who I am because of how they responded to something I did. Another example. So if you do something, you're proud of yourself, you have an accomplishment, and you share it with someone, right? Hey, I got a promotion. Hey, I did this. Hey, I finished my degree. Hey, I did whatever, fill in the blank. If no one responds to that news, how do you feel? If you're a little disappointed because, hey, that's a pretty big accomplishment, whatever it was, but you're still proud of yourself and your accomplishment, then you're good, right? You've got a good, healthy balance there. If you feel devastated and you are no longer proud of yourself and your accomplishment, and you start to doubt your worth and what you've done and feel bad about yourself because you did not receive the praise that you thought was coming, that is an indication of a problem. That's an indication of a problem. When you value the opinion of other people about you more than you value your opinion of yourself, that puts you at risk for issues with your self-esteem, for issues concerning your belief in yourself and what you're capable of doing. Your self-image suffers. And that usually leads to bad decisions and really living a life that's not your own, because you are living a life seeking the approval and validation of other people. And that does not belong to you anymore, because you're allowing their opinions, their thoughts, their approval to dictate your decisions. And I can honestly say, been there, done that. I actually struggled for years with that until I actually realized what was happening. There is a very delicate balance when it comes to validation and to what degree you depend on it. It's easy, so easy, to get caught up in the accolades, in praise, attaboys and great jobs and way to goes. It's really easy to get caught up in all of that, in compliments, whether you're like a great mom or a great cook or a great this or a great that. It's really easy to get caught up in the swirl of that praise. And believe me, I get it. But when you're depending on that to make you feel like you are a worthy individual, that's when you find yourself in a little bit of a pickle, okay? It's in a little bit of a tough spot there. So I'm going to share with you 3 things that you can do if you do find yourself in that place. If you find yourself in the place where, wow, yeah, maybe I really am depending on a lot of other people to make me feel good about myself. Maybe that's not coming from inside. Maybe I'm having to get it all from external sources. Let me share 3 things that you can do to actually help break that cycle, that need for approval and validation of others. The first thing, and this one is much more recent than maybe some of the others, but social media. Listen, we all see the picture perfect people profiles on social media, right? We all know that's probably not the entirety of their real life. We get that. But listen, if you are on social media and you feel like you need to see likes and hearts and comments, and you are just glued to the number of views that your video is getting, if that is how you are drawing your sense of value, take a break from social media. Seriously, cut it off, get it out of your sight, allow your mind a break from the constant pressure that you are putting on yourself to be a social media darling. Take a break. I promise you, social media will still be there when you come back. I promise. Don't, social media is a tool and it can be used for a lot of really awesome things. I use social media as a tool. I have a lot of colleagues and friends and just really amazing people that I'm connected with who use social media as a tool. Some people just simply use it as a way to stay connected with their friends and family. It's a tool. Don't let it become the measuring stick of your value. Don't. It's social media. It's, in some respects, a lot of make-believe. Don't let it become the measuring stick of your value. So that's one thing that you can do. The second thing that you can do to try to break this cycle of needing validation and approval from others, pay attention to you, to yourself. Take the time to actually recognize and acknowledge what your skills and talents are, and figure out what you like and what you don't like. Not what someone else likes and doesn't like, but what you like and don't like. I have discovered a lot of interesting things about myself over the past 18 months or so. There are a lot of things that I actually like a great deal that no one else in my household does. It's actually really kind of funny. And everything from food to types of music to different activities, there are a lot of things that I really seriously enjoy a lot that my husband and my kids don't. And you know what? For a long time, that wasn't okay with me. I did not partake in those things that I enjoyed because they did not enjoy them too. I was robbing myself of those things that I enjoyed because no one else did. Well, who cares, right? I mean, seriously, bless them. They don't have to enjoy the foods that I eat. I like a lot of weird, healthy foods, and they just don't have a taste for them. That's okay. Same thing with other things too. And maybe you find yourself in the same place where there are things that you like, but maybe your household members aren't a big fan. And so you deprive yourself of that thing because, well, it doesn't fit in with what everybody else wants to do. I'm going to tell you, don't do that. Try not to do that nearly as much as you do. At the very least, pay attention and recognize when you are doing it so that you can decide whether or not you want to continue doing it. So build that relationship with yourself and really honor yourself by deciding not to allow the opinions of other people, even if they're in your household, to dictate your decisions. Okay, so that's the second thing that you can do is really pay attention to you. I'm sorry, guys, for whatever reason, my nose is really itching tonight, so I apologize for that. The third thing that you can do to break that cycle, I was going to tell you 3 things. This is the third thing. Stop seeking the approval of others for what you've done. I know that sounds like a no-brainer, right? But listen, it takes practice, especially for those of us who really have been in a place where we have depended on the approval of others to measure our value and our worth. It takes practice to stop seeking the approval of others for what you've done. Sometimes it takes a lot of practice. But really, I mean, seriously, here's a little tip. If someone acknowledges something you've done, if someone offers you praise for something that you've done, that's awesome, okay? Graciously accept it, but don't allow yourself to depend on it, right? You see the difference there? You absolutely can accept praise, accept compliments, accept the acknowledgement and the accolades that come from a job well done, whatever it is that you're doing. You can accept that. You should accept that. You've earned it. The key here is to not let yourself depend on that for your value. Seek validation within yourself. Love who you are, because let's face it, you are amazing. You are. Now, okay, so I shared those 3 things, right? If you're on social media, if you're glued to it, take a break, get off of it, get away from it, out of sight, out of mind. Let your brain relax. I promise it's worth it. It really, really is. If you are in that space where you need to break the cycle, get away from social media, pay attention to you, and then really try very hard. Practice, practice, practice. Stop seeking the validation of others in order to prove your own value and your own worth. So that's all I've got for you tonight. Again, thank you all for joining me here. Those of you who are live and in the replay, it really is my absolute pleasure to be here with you. I get a lot of joy and a lot of pleasure out of being here with you and sharing these things with you. So make sure that you like and share this video. Go ahead and follow this page if you are on Facebook. If you are on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to my channel because we're broadcasting on both YouTube and Facebook tonight. And don't forget to turn the notifications on so that you get a notice when we go live, so you don't miss it. You don't miss out on any of the new content that we're doing. And yeah, I appreciate you all being here with me. All right, friends, have a wonderful night. And until next time, I am Crystal Fry, personal identity coach and transformational communication strategist, helping you connect the dots between your communication and your outcomes so you can get from where you are to where you want to be. Have a great night, guys.